Dawn in the southern wetlands begins with a sound you won't forget. Mud exploding under heavy hooves, branches snapping, and a deep guttural roar that feels like a rolling thunder. This is not a hunting show. It's a frontline report from farms and backwoods where feral hogs have become unstoppable, flattening crops, contaminating water, and costing communities millions. Tonight we follow one dominant sounder and the hunter who dared outthink it. You'll see how intelligence, cooperation, and raw strength let these animals outmaneuver traps and scatter entire seasons of work. But this episode delivers more than action. You'll get practical tools, precise trap planning, movement mapping, and humane protocols that landowners can use tomorrow. Stay with us. Learn what really breaks a sound rhythm, how nature and strategy can tip the balance, and one simple shift that could save a season's harvest. Stay for the final moments. One decision here will change an entire county's fate. After hooked, the film shifts to evidence and practice. To break a sounder's cycle, you must learn its rules, where it feeds, how it moves, and what it fears. Months of mapping trails, wallows, and water points, paired with trail cameras and local logs, revealed one truth. Sounders use predictable funnels, narrow corridors between hedgerows, creek crossings, and low ridges. Farmers and wildlife officers shared timestamps, tracks, and carcass reports to build a precise movement map. Predators change those rules. Wolves and mountain lions do more than kill. Their presence reshapes hog behavior. Hogs avoid open feeding grounds and familiar wallows when predators patrol nearby, pushing juveniles into longer, riskier routes. Coyotes, adapting swiftly, have learned to target piglets with fast, cooperative strikes that reduce recruitment. Predation need not be massive to be effective. Behavioral shifts matter. Disease is a silent multiplier. Pathogens circulating at low levels can surge under crowding or stress, hitting piglets hardest when predation suppresses recruitment and disease increases juvenile mortality. Populations can fall without large-scale culling. That combination helps explain quiet cameras and recovering fields. Human tactics must align with ecology. Smart traps that activate only when most of the sounder enters prevent partial catches that teach avoidance. Rotational baiting and sacrificial buffers reduce predictability. Mapping funnels and protecting predator corridors where feasible amplify natural control. Critically, coordinated action across properties stops simple displacement. Removing hogs from one parcel often pushes survivors into the next unless neighbors collaborate. We profile successes. Shared funding for camera networks and smart rigs, synchronized bait schedules, and community reporting produced measurable results. One multi-county project cut crop loss by more than half within 2 seasons. Farmers regained planting confidence and replaced reactive nights with planned management. Ethics in public health are essential. Humane handling, veterinary oversight, sanitary carcass disposal, and disease surveillance at wallows protect communities. Rapid necropsies and testing guide adaptive responses. Chemical controls and aerial operations require strict oversight and environmental review. Limits remain. Predators cannot be deployed everywhere. Pathogens risk non-target species, and geography sometimes constrains options. Still, the evidence supports layered, patient approaches. Monitor, align human action with ecological forces, coordinate regionally, and adapt. The coming segment shows how technicians implement camera grids, dashboards, rotational trapping schedules, and humane workflows that translate data into durable landscape resilience. Start locally. Assemble neighbor groups. Deploy a few cameras, map 2 key funnels, and run a 90-day rotational baiting trial. Small steps that reveal big change. Now, turning tactical wins into lasting landscape resilience requires patient, data-driven programs. Success hinges on treating management as adaptive. Test small, measure carefully, and scale proven tactics. This is steady work between seasons, not a single triumphant night. Monitoring is the backbone. Place camera grids across known funnels, mount sensors at water points and log tracks, wallow use and damage in shared database. Continuous, localized data reveals subtle shifts, a new trail, change crossing times, or repeated visits that presage renewed pressure. Regular review meetings, weekly at start, then monthly, translate footage into timing for interventions. Adaptive trapping minimizes learned avoidance. Rotate sites, alternate bait types, and use remote control gates, so enclosures close only when most of the sounder is inside. Avoid partial captures. When they occur, pause operations to prevent conditioning. Record every trigger and reaction to refine placement and timing. Redesign the landscape to reduce congregation. Secure livestock feed. Fence critical watering points. And install sacrificial buffer plots to absorb early foraging. Restore riparian vegetation to deny easy wallows. Small earthworks can funnel movement into monitored bottlenecks where control systems are most effective. Create coordination agreements among neighboring properties. Share camera feeds, rotate trap assets, and synchronize bait schedules to prevent displacement. Cost-share smart trap installations and train local volunteers in humane handling and sanitary carcass disposal. Establish rapid response rosters so teams can act when cameras flag spikes without creating continual disturbance. Integrate veterinary surveillance. Regular serology at communal wallows. Prompt necropsies, and clear disposal protocols reduce pathogen amplification. Share findings regionally to anticipate swings in recruitment driven by disease. Measure impact with clear metrics, nightly detection per funnel, hectares damaged, juvenile recruitment indices, and economic loss per parcel. Publish results to sustain community trust and funding. Adaptive management depends on honest feedback. What fails instructs the next iteration. Accept limits and layer responses. Predators help where feasible. Toxins and helicopters are situational and carry costs and risks. Design plans that combine habitat change, targeted removal, monitoring, and disease control, so no single method bears the whole burden. When monitoring, humane practice, habitat redesign, and coordinated action align, quiet fields follow. These are not miracles, but earned outcomes of disciplined, collaborative work. The operational playbook ahead outlines step-by-step actions managers can start within a season. Camera deployment patterns, rotational trapping schedules, basic veterinary checks, and community coordination templates. Implement these with patience. Incremental gains compound into lasting resilience. Sustainable progress against feral hog pressure depends on treating management as a continuous system rather than a one-time campaign. The closing chapter focuses on how communities convert knowledge, technology, and coordination into a long-term defense that protects farmland, ecosystems, and rural economies. The first pillar is regional coordination. Feral hogs do not respect property boundaries, so isolated efforts rarely succeed for long. Counties that form cooperative control networks, sharing trail camera data, scheduling trap rotations together, and coordinating removal campaigns, reported the strongest declines in damage. When neighboring ranches synchronize actions, surviving animals cannot simply shift to the next property and restart the cycle. In many Texas pilot programs, coordinated efforts across several counties reduce reported hog sightings and crop destruction within 2 seasons. Technology now amplifies this cooperation. Modern smart traps combine infrared cameras, solar power, and cellular connectivity so landowners can monitor activity in real time. Instead of closing a gate blindly, operators wait until nearly the entire sounder enters the enclosure. This prevents partial captures that teach hogs to avoid traps for months. Combined with geospatial mapping software and shared online dashboards, communities can track hog movement patterns almost like weather systems, predicting where pressure will appear next. However, technology alone is not enough. Habitat management plays a crucial role. Securing livestock feed, repairing fences quickly, draining unnecessary wallows, and planting buffer crops can make land less attractive to hogs. At the same time, protecting balanced predator populations, particularly coyotes in some regions, helps reduce piglet survival rates naturally. Ecologists emphasize that these natural interactions often stabilize ecosystems more effectively than any single mechanical method. Education and public awareness form the final pillar. Farmers trained in humane trapping, sanitary carcass disposal, and disease precautions reduce risks to people and livestock. Community workshops and agriculture extension programs spread best practices quickly, ensuring that lessons learned in one county benefit many others. As these networks grow, they create a new rural industry built around monitoring equipment, wildlife management training, and cooperative response teams. The broader lesson is clear. The feral hog crisis did not emerge overnight, and it will not disappear overnight. Yet with coordinated strategy, modern technology, ecological understanding, and persistent local cooperation, the balance can gradually shift back toward the land and the people who depend on it.